Welcome back, fight fans. In today's video, we travel deep into the mind of Israel Adesanya as he prepares for his next fight. Sean Strickland's manager says he can't see Sean waiting around long for his next fight. Dustin Poirier compares and contrasts Islam Makhachev to Khabib Nurmagomedov. And is Garry biting off more than he can chew if he wants a 5-round fight with Michael Venom Page? We have all that and more in today's video, so don't be scared, homie. Knock out the like button, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification, and in the words of Big John McCarthy, let's get it on! Former UFC middleweight king Israel Adesanya has been away from the octagon for almost a year, which is something completely unusual for the last stylebender. The last time we saw Adesanya step into the octagon, he lost his middleweight title to Sean Strickland at UFC 293 last September after being outstruck for 5 rounds. Adesanya is rumored to be returning to action this coming August at UFC 305 in Perth, Australia, with him likely challenging current champion Dricus du Plessis for the middleweight title. Following his loss to Strickland, Adesanya admitted that he was going to take a long break away from fighting to sort out the many injuries that he had going into his fights over the last few years.
How excited am I to get back in the octagon? I'm excited. It's been a year, or almost a year, like 11 months by the time I get back in the octagon. But people always like, oh, I hope you get the belt back. I hope you get the belt back. Like, I got belts. I don't need any more belts. I'm coming for heads. That's what I want to do. There's just a few that I have to touch, take. I'm excited to come back, but everything comes at its own time. So right now it's just this time for training, chilling, working, relaxing, healing, and then when it's time for killing.
During his break from fighting, Adesanya has made many lifestyle changes as he attempts to recapture the championship mindset that got him to the top originally. Although his next fight is likely against DDP for the middleweight title, the New Zealander has revealed the main reason why he's coming back, and it's not just focusing on the belt.
The rumor mills have been swirling, the content that you've been putting out, showing some of the work that you've been putting in your off-season as you prepare to come back into the octagon. How's all that been?
But what are they saying?
No, I mean, the stuff that you've been putting out, you've been putting in work.
Yeah, I am. I'm putting in work. But yeah, I just want to optimize myself a lot better than I was compared to how I used to live as an athlete. It's not even close to how I'm living as an athlete now.
Describe your morning, for example.
Now I have breakfast before I actually train. I have a small protein or carb dense meal. And yeah, I have my shake after training. I have lunch and dinner now. So what I would do back in the day, I'd wake up, get to the gym, train, maybe once or twice, 2 trainings, and then I have breakfast. And I know that's not good apparently because you're burning other things as fuel sources that's not meant to be used as fuel sources. So yeah.
When people talk about, stones being unturned when it comes to preparation for training camp and whatnot, do you feel like training wise, you're hitting it right, but these are the stones that are left to be unturned in your preparation when it comes to the stuff that you just described? Nutrition, lifestyle?
Yeah, I guess nutrition mainly one of the main things. But again, it wasn't really bothering me and I was able to get away with it. So I was still performing at peak and better than everyone else. So if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. It's just now, I'm about to be 35 next month and I realize, father time wins. You can't beat father time. So you have to optimize yourself, and yeah, I have been doing that now.
Can you describe some of the work that you've been doing with AB?
Pretty much, I guess you call it in rugby like a preseason, so you get ready for the actual camp itself. Before, it was kind of like a little bit freestyle on my end. I'll just be training with the lads, so I'm still kind of in shape. Even if I fucked off somewhere and I came back and I wasn't in shape, it wouldn't take me too long to get in shape, but I'd rather be really diligent with the way I prepare for these fights, because yeah, you want to close the show nicely. Like I've already said, I'm past the halfway point. So the next few years, I just want to close the show nicely. We're doing just that so far.
There's a bitter history between Dricus and Adesanya, with the potential fight being a grudge match. The 30-year-old has admitted that he has agreed to the fight for UFC 305.
There's a lot of history with this matchup, and even though he's coming off a loss, it's a fight that could shake up the division in so many ways unimaginable that I feel like it's not being talked enough for the hype that it leads up. Talk to me a little bit about the perspective of facing Adesanya as a next opponent, and maybe the negotiations, if you're allowed to get into that, of course, about this next fight.
Yeah, for me, I'm in. I'm ready. I've agreed to everything. I'm ready. I want to do it. That's the fight I want. I called him out after winning the belt, and that's the fight the fans want to see. I mean, and at the end of the day, that's the fight I want to have. That's the guy I want to fight. And for me, let's just announce this thing. I don't know what's the hold up. I want it to be announced. I wanted to go if that's it. I don't know. I've said yes, 100%. I don't know from his side. I don't know what the story is. I don't know what the hold up is. Maybe the UFC is waiting for something. I'm not sure. At the end of the day, I've agreed to it. If they had to phone me today and say we're doing the Sean Strickland second fight, I'll be great. Let's do it. If they say no, we're gonna wait and do the Hamzat fight, great. At the end of the day, people go, why are you not fighting? It's been 6 months, guys. I don't make the fights. I said I'll be ready to fight in May. That's 3 months after fighting for the 4 months after fighting for the belt. I was ready to fight from then on. I just wasn't ready for UFC 300. I had a 6-week recovery before I could start training on my foot, and that's 2 weeks before the event. So I'm sorry, I don't know. Once again, people who've never been in there, and then of course, after you've taken shots like that, you need to let your brain recover. You have one of those, and I'm not smart as it is, but I can take a punch. So I need to keep that baby fresh. And but at the end of the day, when I was ready, there wasn't a fight. There wasn't an offer, a fight on the table. And I don't know how people think this works. Do you just show up and you fight? No, that's not how it works. There's a schedule. There's fights, locations that make sense, fights that make sense. So for me, if we can do 305 in Perth, I would love that. I would love that fight. And I've been ready for it. I've been, like I said, I've signed. In terms of agreeing to everything. I've said, cool. If that's the fight they want, let's do it. And now I don't know what we're waiting for.
Perhaps the biggest reason why the UFC is unwilling to make the fight announcement so soon is they might be wanting to wait for the culmination of the big middleweight fight between Robert Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev, with the two scheduled for a 5-round main event on June 22nd. So with all this middleweight news, where does that leave the most recent former champion, Sean Strickland? Strickland, who's 33, recently returned to the win column with a split decision nod over Paulo Costa at UFC 302 this month. After the win, Strickland noted how he only wants to fight for the title next, and he's willing to wait for it, but his manager doesn't expect that to hold up thanks to Tarzan's active nature.
So, Sean said he's going to sit out and wait for a title shot. Has he changed his stance at all? And I guess, where do you sit on the fence with him?
So for me, Sean and I had an argument about this on fight night. He'll say that, but give him 3 weeks and he's going to want to fight. I agree that it's, if he wants to sit for a title, I think he's done enough, right? If you look at from 2023, he's fought 5 times. He's 4-1, and the one loss is to DDP in a close split decision. Nobody's done more in the last 18 months than Sean. So the idea that he should have to go fight again is a little crazy to me, because look at the other people we're talking about. Like Cannonier was I think he had fought once, and now he's fought twice. Okay, you look at Chimaev, he's fought once. Adesanya since 2023, he's fought twice. Pereira and Sean. DDP has fought, was it twice? I think, which was Whittaker and Sean. Right. So the idea that people are saying like, oh well, he probably needs to fight again is kind of crazy to me, because he's been the most active middleweight other than Brendan Allen, and I applaud Brendan Allen. He's been on a tear. I think since 2023 he's 4-0, coming off a controversial split decision against Chris Curtis. Again, bias on my end. But other than Brendan Allen, like the idea that someone would say, oh well, Sean needs to do more is insane to me, because he's one scorecard away from still being the champion, and he went out and fought again against Paulo Costa. And say what you will about Paulo Costa, but that guy can still fight. He was in a scrap with Whittaker, and honestly, he had some moments against Sean too that definitely made me nervous. So I think waiting is a good idea. I don't know how long it's going to last for Sean. Like I think that's his desire right now, and obviously he wants the title and thinks he's done enough, and I would tend to agree with him. But we'll see. Give it 2-3 months. We'll see if it changes his mind. But if they call him for Australia, for whatever reason that doesn't pan out, he'll be ready to go.
Being the only person who shared the octagon with both lightweight juggernauts, Dustin Poirier recently compared and contrasted Khabib Nurmagomedov style to Islam Makhachev style on a recent episode of the MMA Hour.
Can you compare his style of grappling to Khabib's?
Takedowns are different. Pressure's similar. Takedowns are a little different. He does a lot of upper body stuff. You know, he kept trying to clinch up with me. Khabib would shoot lower shots. I think Khabib was stronger, physically stronger. Islam's squeeze was incredible. Like the whole fight, he felt okay. All of these guys are strong, but it wasn't overwhelming. But his squeeze, that torque he got in that Darce choke, and it was like a vice, it was like a vice grip.
And that takedown leading into the final, sequence, that was pretty high level stuff, right?
Yeah, and I saw people saying like, "Oh, Dustin, I've never even seen that before." I've seen it. Trust me, I've been doing this a long time. I've seen it before. I just didn't think it was about to happen right there.
Right. Did you feel? Some people were saying that they thought he was getting tired. Did you feel like you thought he was getting tired?
I mean, we were both fatigued just from fighting hard, but I don't think he was anywhere close to. He could have done another 5 minutes, no doubt. Yeah. His arms might have started to get filled with blood, so both of us, our punches are going to be a little slower, our legs are a little tired, but neither one of us was tired. We could have kept going.
Ian Machado Garry wants his UFC 303 fight changed to 5 rounds. Although the welterweight bout between Garry and Page isn't currently listed as the co-main event, the final bout order is subject to change. The average man is hopeful that his fight will serve as the co-main event, with the main event being between his idol, Conor McGregor, and Michael Chandler. With that, the future has revealed that he is campaigning for UFC matchmaker Hunter Campbell to change the fight from 3 rounds to 5. On his Instagram, Garry said, "I just finished a really good training session. I'm feeling fresh, I'm feeling ready, I'm conditioned for 5 rounds, so I'm going to get on the phone to Hunter Campbell and the UFC today." 5-round co-main events have become more frequent as of late, with UFC 302's co-main event between Sean Strickland and Paulo Costa being contested over 5 rounds. Page made his long-awaited UFC debut earlier this year at UFC 299, dominating Kevin Holland over 3 rounds. Prior to that fight, Garry claimed that the 37-year-old had no chance of beating the Trailblazer. Although Garry is campaigning for the fight to be changed to 5 rounds, Page is unlikely to agree to that change at such a short notice.
Just finished, heavy session. Just found out that I've got the Ian Garry fight that I wanted. I think that's a great matchup, and my coaches have been putting me through it. For those that been following from the last camp, people know I work hard. People know I have to get pushed, but this is a shorter turnaround than normal. I was hoping to get this fight on the Manchester card because it just felt like it made more sense. It gave me a little bit more time, a bit more of a normal camp time. Whereas I just came off holiday and I was just straight in it. No complaints, like I'm happy to do it, but it does mean it's slightly different and a bit more intense in terms of the back-to-back sessions, in terms of the fitness that we have to do. Because for me, this fight it's a well-matched fight because it's gonna feel very similar to Kevin Holland. This guy's gonna feel like he can stand with me, and he can't. He's probably going to try and take me down a couple of times because there's no other way of trying to accomplish this win, and he won't be able to. He's going to feel my strength, he's going to feel my power, he's going to feel the speed, he's going to be confused about the distancing and where I can get him from, so on and so forth. I need to be fit enough to do this from start of the fight to the end of the fight. So let's say he is tough, similarly to Kevin Holland. Let's say he is, I don't think he is, but let's say he is. That means it goes 15 minutes and I have to be capable of doing what I did in my last fight. So it's just about blasting my legs, making sure my legs are there, blasting the fatigue and my muscular endurance in my arms, just everywhere. So no matter where the fight goes, I'm able to get back up and then do what I do. And I know I can. So I'm looking forward to this fight. And I think a lot of people, from what we're seeing out there, they're equally looking forward to this fight. Yes, he's a loud guy. He can kind of get under people's skin. Just watching him, I don't know how he is personally, face to face. I think the fact that he moves around gyms a lot says a lot about his personality. But regardless of your thoughts and opinions of him, what matters is what happens in the cage. And so far, he's been doing exceptionally well. Now he's just coming to a bit of a roadblock, a massive roadblock. in the one and only MVP. So let's get this fight going.
There's a lot of speculation whether or not the UFC 303 main event between Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler is actually going to happen. All we can go off of is what both fighters are saying online and what the UFC is saying by not saying anything, and we have to assume that the UFC 303 main event is still on. With that being the case, Sean O'Malley's coach, Tim Welch, has analyzed Conor McGregor's UFC 303 training footage, and while he likes what he sees, he does have some concerns about the quality of sparring partners that Conor is working with.
Conor McGregor, explosive, sharp, and we're hoping, always when you watch these fighters and they have the layoffs, you always hope you see the best Conor McGregor, but it's like, again, they're not training like they used to. We'll see what kind of confidence he comes in with these injuries. Michael Chandler, it's going to be a lot of pressure on him, a lot of pressure, a lot of build-up, and he's going to come out and he's going to make it a scrap, a dogfight, like he always does. With Conor McGregor bouncing left, right, throwing head kicks, throwing sneaky shots, and it's going to be important for Michael Chandler not to come out there and really force anything, not let those nerves get to him and force anything. And when you force something, you're going to start over punching, you're going to start over extending yourself. If you do that against someone like Conor with 4-ounce gloves, who's a sniper, you're going to be eating some shots. You really are. Here we go. We got this guy taking a shot on him. Him circling off. Good double unders, jacks him up, circles off, boom. He hits him right behind the ear, and that really wobbled the guy's bell. Gives the guy an 8 count in practice. John Kavanagh pulls him off. Back again, sparring again. And I don't know these guys he's sparring. You can't see who they are with headgear. I mean, they're not going to be probably near the athlete Michael Chandler is, and it looks like in some of these sparring videos that some of these guys are a little bit scared of him, a little bit scared and a little bit intimidated by him, and he's stalking him down, hunting him down. Sometimes that can be good when you're fighting and you're the man in the room. You're the man in the room and you're tuning everybody up, everyone's scared of you, and then you get in this cage with this high level of confidence and go out there and piece them up. Compared to training with really good guys all the time, and you're getting beat up all the time, and you're maybe winning some rounds, maybe not winning some rounds. They're taking you down. They're submitting you. Then you go in that cage not near as confident. There's some pluses and minuses to both. But Conor comes out there and cracks. He comes out there and he's even cracking in the sparring. Floating back with his left hands. This guy's forcing some shots. He's looking pretty sharp, though. I mean, he's looking pretty sharp. Conor's one of the best at just pushing off that front feet and floating back, not taking really big steps when he's floating back. Just his feet are barely leaving the mat, floats right out of range and stings you.
Let's take a look at the top 3 comments left on yesterday's video. At 3NewTiger says, Mike's response is the dumbest few seconds I've ever heard, and I'm married. I'd like to point out that this comment is edited, so I'm really curious as to what the comment was before he made the change. At MushroomGuy88 says, is it just me or did Joe Rogan look like he may have had a little booger sugar when he was chatting with Dana and Hunter? Eyes were wide AF. At DD23 says, Dustin can't stop. He's proven that he's right there at the top, champion without a belt. And I'm an Islam fan, of course, but I really like Dustin and I'm rooting for Dustin against anyone else, maybe even Conor, LOL. If you want your comments highlighted on tomorrow's video, simply comment down below. We'll highlight the top best comments, good, bad, or indifferent, and feature them in tomorrow's video. And that does it for today's video, but make sure you're liking this video, subscribing to this channel, and clicking the bell notification so you can get notified every time we drop a new video. And in case you missed it, check out yesterday's news.